I'm Elizabeth Gearhart. I have a podcast studio in Summit, New Jersey. I help people start podcasts. I teach a few classes. Started this meetup about a year and a half ago with Stacy Sherman, and then she kind of left to go do real work so she could get paid. So she travels all over the place. She's coming back in September though. And I do marketing for Gerhardt Law, my husband's law firm. And I combine marketing with the podcasting, and when people come to me for help, we make sure we put marketing in from day one because that's super important. So that's me. And then our first presenter is going to be Sonia Satra. Do you want to talk about yourself?
Sure. So, hi everyone. I'm Sonia Satra, and I might be becoming more familiar since I've been doing this the last few times, filling in for Stacy. So I am a coach. I help people, particularly entrepreneurs who are looking to grow their business, or people who might be shifting or transitioning either out of corporate into entrepreneurial work, or maybe they've been a mother or a mom and they want to do something else, or they just want to change their life completely. Transformation is kind of the name of the game. And I created something called Moticise, which is a hybrid of coaching and movement. And so that's an aspect of the coaching that I do. And I wrote a book on that called What If It Were Easy? Using Movement and Mindset to Create Success in Life, Love, and Business. And in my other life, I was an actress. I guess it's still sometimes life because I did just do a little part the other day. Um, and I have something coming up new on Netflix actually in August.
Oh, you have to tell us.
Will be the Titans of Hollywood. And I
Mm.
play Eve Fox of Fox Studios. My husband was Mr. Fox. That's coming up in August. But in my other, mostly known for soap operas, I was on Guiding Light as Lucy Cooper Spalding and Psycho Nurse Barbara on One Life to Live. But I always like to assure people I'm really not psycho. And I'm excited to be here today because I think why is a lot of what drives us in pretty much everything we do, whether it be podcasting, your business, or even any other goal that you're looking for. So we're going to do something that's kind of a big scope, very deep. If you were here last time, you got a hint of it, but we'll go a little deeper on it today, and then we'll skew it really towards your business and podcasting
Yeah,
and branding, really creating that business.
right. And you also have you can also coach people on how to be on video, right?
Yes, I do. That
I
was
mean,
actually how I
you
started when I was acting. I was using a lot of acting skills and being on. I've definitely had my 10,000 hours worth of video.
was going to say, you
So
know a little bit about being on
I
video.
know a little bit about that. So yeah, and that can be very helpful, particularly if you're starting a podcast or looking to do any kind of YouTube work. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm passing the baton to Karen.
Hi, Karen Rubenstein, and I was a graphic designer for about 30 years, most of my working life. And then I say I worked in the garment district, and then I was freelancing. And now I am 5 years into recovery from alcoholism. So I'm now a transformation coach helping women in recovery. And I formed an online recovery community for women. But I still love, and like a passion of mine is still like design. I just love creating beauty wherever I am. And Elizabeth is a good friend of mine. And she's like, hey, I love your design skills. You want to do some work with, the Gears Media Studios. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. Because I said to her, I go, just this is like playtime for me, like putting pieces together. And I know the importance of branding. I do have an advertising background too. Um, And cohesiveness, I've designed for my new business. I designed my website, the business cards, the brochure. And it's so important, like first impression, one, you want to look really professional. And two, you want to like look at a design and know it's a certain person, like a certain company. And you keep the same color schemes. A logo is like the foundation. People spend millions, especially like a Shell logo or something that is easily recognized, a McDonald's M. So branding is super important, and I'll get into that. I have a slideshow. I'll have a little tutorial. I'll show you Canva. And Elizabeth was asking me the other week, like, well, what about Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop? And I'm like, I still use them, but, and she's like, well, what about the industry? I'm like, Canva is like a Mercedes Benz. Like it's so like easy for anybody, and just like it's so sleek and things are, oh, I just love it. Like it's kind of like clunky going back to the other. So I'm excited about Canva. Like it's so like user friendly. There's nothing to be like afraid of. And I could easily show you like some tips and stuff. And I have a little branding kit, like guidelines, so you could like print it out and use it on your own. I also am working with Elizabeth, through the studio, and I do have a brochure offering my services. So I have all that, and it's exciting, and I can't wait to show you.
Yeah. So we have 3 more minutes, I guess, for people to come in, but I haven't seen a lot of people coming in. So what do you think, Sonia?
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of
Answered
those
all of them
nights.
now.
Do you
Yeah.
want to start
Yeah.
sharing your screen the other thing is if you have questions, I'm going to be monitoring the chat. So I'm more the moderator here, and Sonia and Karen are the presenters. So if you have a question, pop it in the chat, and if it seems like a right stopping point, we'll let everybody know about it. If not, we'll do it at the end of like a section or something. So we want to capture what everybody's questions are during the night. So, and then we'll have time at the end if there are more.
Yes, absolutely. So, I actually am going to start really fast by sharing something in the chat. It's a little worksheet, and I'm going to invite you to open it up because I want to start before I share and move into the business side of things. I want to start with this exercise. And for some of you who might have been here last time, it was a bit impromptu because we were waiting for our speaker. I did a little bit of this, but I actually want to walk you through this because it's definitely one of those exercises where you're like, yeah, I'll do it later. And you never do it later. And so it takes about 5 minutes, but I want you to give it a shot. So, going to go, I can, this one we won't be able to share. So, because I don't have it on my PowerPoint, but if you open up that thing I just shared, the podcast worksheet, the beginning says 7-level deep exercise. And I had said, for those of you who are on in the very beginning, I'm going to be like the person who just asks why and why and why. And as annoying as that might feel initially, there actually is a purpose because we want to get to the depth of your why. And I want to start by doing this one, which is a little bit more personal, a little deeper, and then we'll skew it towards the why that's geared towards the branding and your business and or podcast. But I think this one often is the driver. It really is the driver, often in your entire life, no matter what your goals are. And so when you start to get some clarity on this, it's the thing that will help you when things get tough, because it is the deepest why. It's that reason you get up in the morning. So I want to invite you to play along, and I will do it as myself. I've done it a couple of times, and usually the answer comes more or less the same, which is telling. But I would love for you, and if any of you feel like sharing, that would be super fun. But the first couple ones are usually pretty easy and obvious. But when you start to get to the fifth why or sixth why, that's when it starts to get deeper and more personal. So we're going to use the goal of why is about your business, a business or podcast. So why is it important for you to start a podcast or yeah, let's just go with that. If you're just starting and you haven't done a podcast, but you're thinking about it and you have a business, you can use your business. If you're already into a podcast or you have an idea for one, go with that just for the purposes of tonight. Okay. So let's say the goal is I want to start a podcast, or I want my podcast to grow, or I want to take my business and podcast to the next level, whatever your goal is. So I'm right on the verge of starting mine, but so I'm going to be like, why is it important for me to start a podcast? So for me, there's multiple reasons, but the first one I would probably say is to grow my business. So answer number one would be to grow my business. So then I'm going to ask the second question. Why is growing my business important to me? Well, because I want to help more people. So the answer number two would be to help more people. So you do this for yourself too, okay? I'm just giving you an example, but it would be really, really great if you did it, because 9.5 times out of 10, you're probably not going to do it later. And I promise you, it can really be enlightening. So why is it important for me to help more people? Well, I feel like maybe my experience or I have something to share, and I want to be able to do that, to help people transform. So that was a very long, little twisted answer, but we'll just say I feel like I have something to share that can help people transform. So you can see those are a little easier. Now it's going to start getting harder. So why is it important for me to share something I'm aware of so more people can transform? So because it lights me up more than anything when people are doing what they love. That's really true. That is probably the entire driver of what I do. I love that more than anything. So when they love what they're doing, they're going for it. So why is it important for me to help people, go for what they want, what lights them up, and be happy? So why is that important to me? Because it feels like that's a part of why I'm here. Okay, so that would be my fifth. So why is it important for me to do something that I believe could be why I'm here? So number six would be because I don't want to waste my life. So you can see it's starting to get much deeper, much more personal, much more specific. And it goes way, way beyond your typical why questions of who's your audience? Why do you want to do this? Why is it this color? Why is it this font, right? We want to get to the core of what really drives you. So why do I not want to waste my life? Because I feel like I've got one chance in this lifetime. And for me, I have a deep spiritual connection, and I feel like I want to live to, my highest power, and I want the highest power, if you want to call it God, I want to serve God in the highest possible way for me. So that would be my deepest why. That's a pretty big, right? Compelling reason. And it's not really one that anybody can argue or get in the way of. And it's really hard on those days when I wake up and don't feel like doing something, or I don't feel like showing up, for me to argue that that's not a good enough reason why. And so that is the deepest purpose for me. And it started with, why do I want to start a podcast, right? And it gets to that level. But that's the complexity of who we are as individuals and why we want to get to that lowest level beneath all of the stuff, because that's the juice. That's the power of who you are. So I'm curious, before we move on, Is anybody brave enough or willing enough to share what came up for them, even if it's not their deepest? Maybe it's not the seventh level. Maybe it was number 4 or 3. Anybody willing to share what came up for them? Or if you don't want to share it because it feels very personal, did you learn something? Did you feel like, oh, that was interesting? I didn't expect that. Pop it into the chat. And if you're like, hey, I just came to listen and I don't feel like doing this, that's cool too. It's in the chat. You can do it later. But I was really hoping some people would do it with me because it's nice to be a little guided.
Oh, here, Gloria.
Yay!
Wow. Do you want to read it or do you want me to read it, Sonia? Why don't you read
Oh,
it?
can I read it? Does it show up?
Yeah, it's in the chat. Do you see it?
I saw my logo, but it didn't open for me. Ah, shoot.
You can't
Darn it.
open.
I really want to read it. Can you read it? Because
I
it's not
can.
opening for me.
How do you do
So
that?
Gloria feels drawn to media. She doesn't have business, but drawn to media. Goal is to start a podcast. Why is it important? To encourage people to become excited about education. Why is that important? Well, education has been viewed negatively. Why is that important? Because some people may not have the same privileges to learn and have education, which is an issue. Why is that important? Because everyone can have the capacity to learn and engage in their learning. And why is that important? Doing a subject that they really care about is more important than falling out of love of a subject that they don't. And why is that important? There is always something that clicks with people. And why is that important? Learning is not just something found in education, just like podcasts aren't just people talking for a certain amount of time. This provides purpose to help them learn in every sector that they can. Wow, wow.
Wow,
That
fantastic. That is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
and
That's really, really powerful. So you can
mhm.
see how deep that goes into the core of who you are. Thank you so much for being bold and sharing that. I love that. And sometimes it's really nice to just post that deepest why somewhere nearby or keep it in a place where you could see it so you could pull it out and remember it.
And we
Let's
have a
see.
couple others.
Yeah.
So Barbara Clark, who I know Barbara, I want to use the talents and gift I have been given in order to live an authentic life.
Awesome. Right. And when you live that authentic life, others, you're a role model for others. And energetically too, you're sharing that and others want to start to reflect that too. That is so beautiful. Thank you.
And then Taryn Alexander, that
Def
definitely helps you. Can you see it now?
I could see that. I just wasn't able to open the other
Oh,
one. But yeah, definitely. So I could read that one. Thank you,
yeah.
Elizabeth, though, for reading
Hmm.
that. Definitely helps keep you going as to why you truly have the passion to do what you feel you're called to do. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't ask enough whys. It's so true. We asked the first one, maybe we'll even ask the second. And that's why I always say it's the first 3, and then you're like, yeah, whatever, whatever. This, who cares about this, right? But when you get to 4, 5, 6, 7, that's when you really get to the heart of it. Oh, that's so great. Let's see. I want to change a view on a population, and then my view gets ignored for the most stupid reasons in life.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think Sam works with autistic people, right?
Love
Um,
that. And how deeply important is that? An entire segment and growing segment of the population who's dismissed when their genius is perhaps beyond some of ours in certain areas. So, such a beautiful mission and so, so powerful. Great. Often said it would be an injustice to society if I didn't tell my story. Oh, nice. A story that is rich with many extraordinary life experiences that will help and guide people. Amazing, Renee. Yes. And I'm sure each and every one of you have one powerful story. You clearly do that could change people's lives. How amazing is that? Your story, your power, like you just having gone through something is so rich. It could inspire, motivate, and change another person's life for good. That's a reason to get up. Thank you. Great. Feeling like I got a ton of resistance, so I didn't finish, but I hope to do it soon. Awesome. Thank you. That's important too, right? I love that because it's not an easy exercise. It's a whole bunch of whys. It seems like something, like I said at the beginning, a toddler would do, just why? And it's interesting when you get that resistance. And so, and that's normal and natural because it is pushing into the depths of who you truly are. So, way to go for acknowledging that. And I invite you to really try it again. And if I can help you in any way, just, reach out to me because I'm passionate about this topic. So happy to help guide you through too if you need that. Mom told me to tell you that I'm on the autism spectrum. Way to go. Okay, so see, you're special too. You're one of those genius people that we need to acknowledge. I worked with a shaman over the last couple of years, and he's just like, people on the spectrum are actually more advanced. And I was like, that's new perspective. So we'll see. But I've worked with some autistic people too, and they're just incredible. So definitely not stupid, the farthest thing from it. When you get weary, you need to read this exercise. Yes, you do. Get energized with people seeing, feeling, and hoping they hear from others' stories, as it energizes me as well. And then hopefully this passes on to other aspects of their lives or others. Absolutely, it does. People's stories, right? We hear this all the time. You could give information until you're blue in the face, and people don't remember what you say, but they'll remember how they feel, which is why stories are so important and so key. So great. What led you to making your YouTube channel now 11 years? Congratulations, Lane. Was the fact that it all started with a simple gift from the woman in my life who has been my number one supporter, your mom. So cute. I love that. It was one Christmas when I got my first camera, and then realizing it now was the moment I knew I was going to be a filmmaker. So how great is that? Like the ripple effect and the domino effect. His mom believed in him, saw something, and wanted to support that creativity. And now, 11 years into YouTube, how many lives have you changed as a result of that? Amazing. Thank you guys. Thanks so much for sharing. That was really, really cool. There are other questions further on down into this that we will not do right now. I'll let you take those to do later. I'm going to go just because I also want to make sure that I don't overtake my time. I'm going to go just into now taking this. That core, that depth, that real why. Now we want to move it and shape it a little bit more towards business and look at some of the other things that we need to look at to really find the why. And again, we're gearing this towards podcasts, but it is equally as important for your businesses too. So you can definitely use it for that. So, why are you doing a podcast, or why do you even want to do a podcast? So that is such a key, important question, especially when you're at the beginning of branding. We talked a little bit about that last month, because it's just as important with branding as it is with marketing. But you really want to understand, what is that why? Why is it that you want to start a podcast? Because when you understand that motivation, and it really should probably pair a little bit, or at least be in alignment with your deeper why, that also will help clarify and create that through line. And it is the driving force behind all of this, your business, your podcast, pretty much everything you do. So some of the whys, and I'd love to hear from you. What are some of the whys you've done it, or some of the reasons why you want to do it? So some of you said that you had an expertise or a passion or a story. Maybe you lived through something, you experienced something, a hardship even, and you figured out how to get through it. And now you want to share that, fast track people who maybe have gone through something similar or something difficult, or want to learn what you've already learned and don't want to have to go through all of the steps that you did go through. So you have that sharing, that expertise, that passion, that story. equally as important. Maybe like my original one, because I've already looked at the deeper reason of why I do what I do, which I've basically shared with all of you. um, so the why of why I want to, because I truly believe every single human being here on earth is capable of amazing things. It's how can we tap into that, let them see it, align, and go for it, overcome those fears to really make it happen. And so that's really the reason why I love coaching, why Moticise came into existence, my book, and ultimately the podcast. The podcast would be another layer in that. How can I get that out to a larger audience in a slightly different way? And I'm actually just going to bounce down to this final bullet point because I think it goes in tandem with that personal and professional brand building, but it's offering a variety of different ways to reach people. Everybody likes to learn in different ways. Some people love like the 1 minute, the quick, quick and easy, and our attention spans are getting shorter by the minute. And so that's where social media is really great. That's where shorts are super great. And that gives you a bit of flavor, right? Some people still like writing or reading. So they like to see a blog or maybe a podcast they can read it instead of watching it. Other people, so you sort of have the shortest form, social media or shorts, then maybe a little bit longer would be some YouTube videos, and then podcasts, which give you the opportunity to go deeper and wider, I think, because you can talk for longer, you can interview guests, you can share more stories, and you can get even more specific. And so it really gives people a variety of different ways of reaching you and tapping you and learning from you. So some people might just want to do it because they want community and they want connection. There are some people who are real community. I think, Elizabeth, that was one of the first things you said to me when you wanted to start this meetup was, I really want the community. I want the connection. I want to bring people together who have this common interest so that we all can learn, we can all share, we can grow together. That was a huge driver of why we're doing this. And that came from you, that was a driver for this particular meetup podcast. I'll call it meetup podcast because it kind of is. It doesn't go out on podcast platforms, but this particular idea. So that's to create that community, to connect, to bring like minds together. Marketing, we talked about that last time, and we will continue to because it's such a huge part of growing your business and your podcast. And monetization. Once you grow it to a certain point, you could start making money off of podcasts. That might be a driver for people. That's what they want to do. Others, and Elizabeth, I feel like I'm calling you out, and I should let you speak.
Okay.
But I know when I asked you why with the profit, my God, I'm just blanking on your name, Passion Profit podcast, you were like, well, it was fun. It was kind of a stretch for us. We just wanted to do something different that we hadn't done before. So it was a growth opportunity. It was, they knew what they were doing. They were experts in what they already were doing. Your husband with his legal office, you with marketing. And this was just another outlet to sort of express yourselves and have a good time and learn. So all valid. All of these are good reasons, but it's important to identify why for yourself. And then some are really about conversations, and that's sort of a little bit community and connection, but you see a little bit more platforms for conversations, I think, with perhaps political discourse or conversations or sharing political views, or perhaps if faith-based views. So you just want to have conversations about a particular topic. That can also be a why. So curious. Why? After seeing that list, there might be other whys that are driving you, but what is it that is really driving you? When you look at that, what's the first thing? And I sometimes say first thought, best thought. It doesn't mean you can't go back and change it, but that first thought is often that gut, that like instinct of why you really want it. Anybody know, or for people who are already doing a podcast, do you already know why? I know some have shared it's their It's because they want to, change lives, transform lives. They want to get the word out. They want to, help change people's minds. They want to share their creative talents. Anyone else? Anyone want to share what comes up for you in the why are you doing a podcast? One of your life codes is to always leave people, places, and things better than I found them. Oh, that's a great one. Amazing. Wow. It's your main why. How huge. And your podcast will be for small businesses. What a beautiful mission, and so clear and so concise and very actionable. And that's another great reason why having that why it's actionable. You can take actions and always measure it. Am I fulfilling that why? Is this choice, and especially if you have choices, does this choice fulfill that mission, or would this choice be better? And so it also helps you in decision making too. Another reason why your why is so key. Awesome. To encourage others. And we need a lot of that, right? There's so much chaos out there. There's so many people that are really hurting and feeling very disconnected. And so having that encouragement is huge. You truly can change somebody's life. Get rid of the negative connotations for people with disabilities. Huge, so big. I think everyone has a unique point of view and wisdom, and you want to explore and share that. Love it. Yeah. I think that's so true. And podcasts, more than a short, would give you that opportunity to do it, right? Because you really get to explore it on a deeper level. So you get to share more points of view and go deeper on it. Awesome. Understand the strengths and limitations of society. Cool. That's interesting. That almost sounds like platform for conversation. One other why that came to my mind that I forgot to include, but probably should, is sometimes it's also for you to learn. Sometimes people will choose a topic that obviously they have a passion or an interest and serves them, but they might choose it because they want to learn from the experts that they're interviewing. I know a lot of people with business podcasts have shared that, right? I wanted to interview guests who are better than me. I want to learn that. Or things around money and finance. They want to while they're teaching people, they're also really learning, and they're very driven by that. We can never stop learning, right? Going back to the education, we always learn. And I think it's an inevitable, beautiful byproduct of a podcast is that you do learn from your guests and you do learn from the experience of it. But some people are more motivated by that. I follow a spiritual podcast, and he had said, I wanted to interview everybody and anybody in all areas of this so that I could learn, so I could sort of vicariously have those experiences through them. So many reasons I should pinpoint one, but one of the things I want to do is educate people about mental health. Yes, and destigmatize it. Absolutely. And so to me, I feel like that's to educate, and it's a passion. And so you're really pairing those together, and that is your why. And it's a great why. It's absolutely something you can come back to and use as a base and to grow from. So awesome. Thanks for sharing. So why are you sharing this specific information? So again, going back to why this, so you got why the podcast, but even within a podcast, right? So you could do finance or you could do business, and there's a million different takes, unique angles. Why the one you want to choose? Would anyone be comfortable sharing their podcast name? Beautiful. Anybody wants to shoot it out there, put it out there. Great.
I'll
Right?
put mine out there.
Yes. So we want to dig. So we're also looking at, so why the podcast? Why the specific angle or the information? And some of you have shared, you want to educate, you want to destigmatize something, you want to motivate people. All of these are really, really powerful whys for that specific information. And the more you can kind of start a little bit with a niche, I think the easier it is to brand, which we're going to, go into, and Karen's going to go into even more specifically.
Can I just interject something here? Um, I'm,
Please.
I'm going to send out an email after this, and I'm going to have the chat in there. And one thing I was hoping that we could do with this meetup was that people would subscribe to other people's YouTube channels in this group, or follow or download their podcasts. Um, and all these podcasts look really good to me, so I am going to look at all these podcasts. Um, and I'm going to follow and download and subscribe wherever they are, what they need. So I'm hoping that when people see the email with the chat in it, that maybe they'll do the same too, and we can help each other out that way.
I love that. That is such a great idea, and such a beautiful way to build community and have community support community. So yeah, good one. Um, and Renee, great. If you don't want to particularly start a podcast, I think all of these things can still help you. And obviously around a specific launch, they're all really important questions in any kind of business building. Um, oh goodness, I'm so sorry. That's very sad. I apologize. I'm so sorry for your loss. Ouch. Um, and maybe you can keep her memory alive in
Oh.
different ways that you move forward in. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-mm.
Um, hmm, Hard to go into this from that, but I'm going to, just to move forward. So just a couple other reasons why you want to share your specific information, because somebody mentioned it, you had a story and you feel like that has to be shared. You have to let people know. So, or you have a passion or an expertise, right? I think Elizabeth, you're a brilliant marketer. You have that. Karen, brilliant brander, great with Canva, creative. You have something you know how to do, and you want to teach others how to do it or share with other like-minded people. Um, Respond to common questions. So that can also be an add-on to your business. Some people have podcasts where it's ask so-and-so. I have a friend who's got a podcast on sex and relationships, and she's like, ask Beatty about your sex.
I bet she gets a lot of views on that
She
one.
does get viewership. She does.
Yeah.
But she's hilarious too. She's great at it, right? But so it's a way of sort of adding and building on. Addressing a problem, right? That people might overlook. And so this can get to the heart of it, to the root cause of it. Or advocating for a message. I think that goes back to advocating for disabilities and trying to change the stigma, raise awareness, or to create impact or change. So why, thinking about that, why is the message within your message important? Why is that? So um, then why are you the right person to share it? And we're all the right person to share our message, right? This isn't like a trick question, but it's sometimes important to define it for a number of reasons. One, it helps you own it. It helps you get very clear. And if you do get pushback, you could be like, hey, it's my story. I know this. I do have expertise in this. I have a lot of evidence this works, whatever the case may be, but it really helps for you to be clear on why you are the right person for your message, for your podcast, or for your business. And every single human being is right for what they have to say. We all have a unique message, or as often sometimes people say, your fingerprint, right? There's no fingerprint that's the same. So you all have a unique fingerprint, some energetic that reaches people in your own way. That is why. But what specifically, how can you build that out? Maybe you lived it. You were trained, you were skilled, you worked in it for a million years, right? You know it. I know something about film. I worked on it for so many years. I have a lot of expertise that people may not have, that they maybe didn't have that opportunity. So I can share that. You have a unique voice, and that could be literal or figurative. Maybe you just have a unique perspective, or maybe you just have a unique voice. I was thinking of that. There's a gentleman who used to be the principal of my son's school, and his voice was just mesmerizing. I swear to God, he could have talked about anything, and I would have wanted to listen to him. It happened to be about my son's school that I was interested in, but literally I could have listened to anything that man said. And so maybe you're just that person, you know? Or maybe you're trusted, right? Maybe you've held a position of power, or you have a particular background or something that makes you a trusted perspective. Or you're just authentic, right? Somebody said they want to be their most authentic self. That's a really big topic these days. How can we find our most authentic self? And if you're living authentically, it's a tremendous opportunity to be that role model for somebody else and share how you got there, because that doesn't always happen overnight. And so last, we're going to go into just a little bit of target audience. And I'm going to guess that Karen will probably tag off of that because it's very tied into a lot of what she'll be talking about. But who is your target audience that shares your why? So who listens to this? Who needs your why? Who needs that information? Who needs your energetic fingerprint? Who needs your expertise or your motivation or inspiration? And how can you find them? That's really why it's helpful to start to figure out what that target audience is. So, for example, if somebody's trying to change the conversation around autism, right? So, who's interested in that? Who can we reach? How can we start? Maybe it's relatives of people who have autistic children or family members. Start there and let that grow and build. So it's starting to get into the psychology of why do people listen to you? Why? What do they need? Why? What's their compelling why that's driving them to hear you? So we want to look at the why kind of from both angles so that we can target it so specifically and really honor that. Because at the end of the day, yes, it is about us because it's our business, our podcast, our message, but we're not doing it in a void. We're doing it for others. So the other people matter as much. And my dog agrees 100% with that. Um, yes, you could reach out to special education teachers. Beautiful. Right. You're the right person because you see so many people who don't believe in themselves. Awesome. Or lack vision or a bigger picture. Phenomenal. So you probably have this aptitude, this ability to see that vision, to see that picture, and to help them see it. And yes, that makes you a right person. And I bet you have a story or an expertise that backs that up. So you can see why the whys start to build and they start to make your case and make it more specific. And from there, we can then figure out how to make it beautiful. But a community shared values, beginners looking for guidance and support, like-minded individuals or niche groups with your message. So, and then just a little why it matters. And this is going to be a lead into Karen, because who those people are, who you are, and who your audience is going to dictate how you are going to reach them. Right? So this is all the why, which is so important to know so that you can know the how. How do you reach them? What language is going to speak to them? What colors is going to resonate? What font is going to speak to them? All of those things really matter, even subconsciously, that we don't realize. But it's so helpful to understand who we are and who they are and what the message is, and unify that why under one big umbrella. And then you can create the picture that supports that, or the podcast and the vocals and the show that supports that. So, and it also is who are you going to invite? What are the topics that they care about that you want to learn, right?
Yeah.
All of those things. Are you dealing with corporate? Is it more spiritual? Is it women entrepreneurs? Is it male entrepreneurs? Is it sport and fitness? Is it health and nutrition? You could look at just those audience types and know every single one of them are going to listen and hear things just a little differently. If you're doing corporate, you probably don't want your podcast to be pink and frilly, right? You're doing sports and fitness. Maybe it has an element of strength to it. Maybe you don't want it to be too dry and corporate like. And so we want to try to understand who and why they need our message and how, then we'll get into the how. And I know I said this was the last thing. I promised Karen I'm sharing this. This is not mine. I'm just saying that up front. It's Kay Putman's. There are lots of other people who do it, but it was a really interesting, I found, thing while I was discovering my brand. And you can go to, fortunately, I'll share it when I stop sharing my screen. I'll put it into the chat. You can't click on this link for some weird reason, but
And I'll make sure it's in the email that I send out too.
beautiful. Okay. And I'm not affiliated with her. I get nothing from it. I just happen to like this quiz. So just
That's really
saying
cool.
that.
Yeah.
This is her thing. But I found it so fascinating because it's really trying to get to the heart of also not only your why, because she'll ask some of the questions that I presented today, but it will also start to ask a little bit more of like the energy around it and who you are. Are you a caregiver or are you the hero? Are you super creative type or are you an explorer? And there's 12 of them. And each of them have a very different vibe. And so when you can kind of determine who you are, then you can also start to create the branding of that. And also know, like, we want to tie it into who your audience is, right? So if you are an explorer, you're going to probably talk with bolder language if that's who you are, and your why is I want people to take bold chances and go out there and do their thing, then that's probably not the caretaker who was like, come into my circle. I'm going to help build community and we're going to talk and we're going to chat and I'm going to make you feel good and make you feel safe and etc. Right? You get the gist of it. There's 12 of them. And it was interesting. I actually just did it again because when I first started Moticise was a little bit more, I was doing more of the hero. So a little more of the athletic and nutrition based. It's shifted a little bit more. It's really more into the deeper the coaching, and I'm sort of probably has a little bit of woo or a lot of woo, right, Elizabeth? So I'm definitely a little more of the magician. Used to be hero magician. Now I came up full magician this time. So we'll have to
Yeah, I'd
see
say
how I
so.
change a little of my branding to kind of honor that, because the kinds of people, when you start to shift even who you are or how you're speaking or how you're trying to address or communicate your message, you might want to shift a little of your branding. But that gets to a shift later. This is a really fun one to do, just to kind of give you an idea, and you'll start to uncover more of the whys of what makes you tick. So here's my information. If you want to reach out, if you have any questions, I do coach, obviously. And I'm also, I'm on social media and happy to answer any questions that you might have. So,
Excellent. Thank you. I want to run through real quick some of the podcast names. It'll only take me like 2 minutes. And then we'll go to Karen. Sound good? So,
beautiful. Yes.
okay. So we have Autism Rocks and Rolls, and then Lane Boyd, Layneboyd. That's his YouTube channel. That's his name. I have Passage to Profit with my husband Richard. Mark, Horror Beneath the Surface on YouTube. Okay. I got to go to that one because I have a ghost story podcast, and that is strictly for fun. My why is like fun, fun, fun. Um, and then Aquarian Chandler, Girl, Get Up, Life and Times of an Infinite Dreamer. Love all of these. Um, those are the ones that are in here. The Real Watch List plus classic movie reviews on YouTube. So we want to grow by expanding to a podcast version. That's Joe DeLorio. Um, so yeah, I think the realwatchlistplus.com. So I think that's all of them. So this will be in the email too. But thank you, Sonia. That was amazing. And it ties right into what Karen's going to talk about.
Awesome. And we'll also be around for questions after. So I want to definitely hand it over to Karen so she has a chance, because she has some amazing things to share.
Oh, here's the
Yeah,
Gina Mitchell show too. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Karen, go.
thank you. And that was really, I no, I loved it. I learned quite a bit. And I love the psychology part. I love the why. And then, yeah, the who. That's where the branding comes in, and there is psychology involved. So let me get to my slideshow. Hold on.
Are you able to share?
Yeah, hold on. Oops. Hold on. Okay, let me hit share. Sorry. I had all this time. Hold on.
So while she's pulling that up, I just wanted to go back and address Lane about your audience, adults, but also kids. I feel like certain kids like shows like Spidey and His Amazing Friends. Great, you're really specific about that. So that's very cool. And breaking that down into those kinds of specifics can really, really help you target that group of people.
All right. Are you able to see it?
Yes. Ooh, I
Awesome.
like the
Yes.
orange. Oh, you got a little video going on there.
Cool.
So to wow. So I actually used a very neutral color, the orange. Oh, somebody else came in for this so that it appeals to both like men and women. The wow, why branding matters. So actually the history of branding, it started, and talk about psychology, it started with Sigmund Freud's nephew, Bernays. He was the beginner of branding and propaganda. And how do words and images affect you psychologically? So think like a brand. So what's the mood of your podcast? So when you're thinking of your audience, it will be different. I was writing down different ones that were on Sonia's, like health and nutrition is going to have a different feel than like a corporate, or a woman's issues will have a different feel, like more feminine, softer fonts, softer colors. So you have to think, who are you appealing to? Who do you want to reach? So that when they look at your brand, they're like, oh, that's for me. That like it draws their attention. You want to attract the people that you're thinking of. So what do you want them to feel? I have some examples that I'll show of like a masculine, like somebody working out in a gym, and really heavy fonts, really bold, dark colors. You want them to feel like the energy and strength. For a soft, like maybe a cooking on nutrition, you'd have like softer images like fruits and veggies, of course. But like if you want to have it more nutrition based, it would have a more like scientific feel. So you have like different colors to work with that. What story are you telling through your visuals? So you're taking a person on a journey of like what you want them to experience with their product. So hold on. I have some, okay, so what completes a podcast brand kit? A brand kit, you want to have it a similar feel across, so that if somebody has your business card, or if somebody is flipping through YouTube, or if somebody is on your website, they know it's you because it has such a strong feel to it, from your logo to the colors to the typeface. You want everything to have the same thing. So you have the logo is pivotal. Then the cover art, Zoom studio backdrop. Even if like I had the little backdrop here, that's one of the part of the package. It just unifies everything. So you have a certain look. So if you're doing a video podcast, then you have like that certain look that ties in. Typography, a lot of people don't think about it, but a typography, I love fonts. It could really give a whole different feel, from like curly, swirly things for feminine, Victorian theme or something, to bold, or even if you think of children's podcasts would have big, bold, chunky, colorful, blocky letters. So that it all ties in together. So I pulled some podcast cover images just for like little examples of what I'm trying to say. So it's the first impression that somebody is going to see of like your podcast. So it makes the biggest impression. Like it, so, and right away, like the S8, well, the S whole country, like, right away that it looks ethnic, it looks aggressive, it might be like very liberal, like left thinking, and you're gonna know it just by looking at the cover. 9/12, well, that's like pretty easy. If you think about it, 9/12 is the day after 9/11 and has the images of the towers. So, it's a podcast of like how 9/11 affected people and what happened to them afterward. The interior design, the nice try. It looks like it's going to be a really bold, like forward thinking podcast. The Turning, the sisters who left, these are women that worked with Mother Teresa, and you can see the image of Mother Teresa. Again, you have different fonts, you have different colors. Ezra Klein, if you're famous, I would say put your image, your face on a podcast. Otherwise, most of the time, use some colorful art, some art that really states what your brand is. Because unless like people really know who you are, they're going to be like, oh, that's just another face, So that's professional design. People really do judge the quality. If it doesn't look like it's professional, they're going to think that maybe you're not taking this that seriously. It's not something they want to invest time with. And this is all a split-second decision. Again, that's the psychology that Bernays came with. You want to impact people right away. You want to draw their attention. You not only want to draw them, you want to know, they want to know exactly, because they're flicking through, they're going through YouTube, they're going through a million things, screen, just scanning through screens, and your things, it has to pop immediately, and it has to be identifiable. Like, I'm interested in things 9/11 because that happened in our backyard. And I'd be like stopping on that for a second. Or the sisters, so know your audience and gear it to them. So again, consistency. And again, if you have better design, good design says you're legit. Like, there's somebody here that really cares. They're putting the effort in. It's probably going to be around, because if people are going to invest time in you, they want to know that you're in for the long haul. So all of this is tied into a very quick image, and it's going to say it all. It's going to catch them or it's not. So again, unless you're Ezra Klein or maybe Sonia. Sonia can put her photo on the front. Me, no, I don't think so. So now with Canva, I was talking in the beginning when there were a few people here. Love Canva, super user friendly. There's so much to explore, and I'm going to go into Canva after I get off the slideshow. Just wanted to give you like little overall view of what this is about. What I love about Canva, when you go in, they have all different templates. They have it all sized. There's standard size for different things. For a podcast cover, it's 3,000 by 3,000 pixels. If you're in doubt, but Canva usually gets it right. They have YouTube banners, anything that you can think of to create for social media, for podcasting, anything. Canva has a template, which is a delight. So then you can go in, they have a bunch of fonts that are fun to go through. And if you're not familiar with fonts, I'll show you again when we go in. So you can customize your fonts, your colors, your layout. You can either use a template or start from scratch if you're brave. And then there's photos. They have photos available. They're really good. I have used them a lot. Then there are other ones, and I have a handout that I'll give you that free pick I just love for photos. They have a lot of really good images. There's a lot of resources out there to put together like really good brands. So this is the type in fonts. And again, people are like, oh, fonts, they don't know serif from sans serif. I actually dated a font artist in New York, so I'm like, I love fonts. Or maybe I just really liked him. But so like,
which was it, Karen?
I'm not sure. So if you're not familiar with the different types of fonts, there are a ton in Canva, but there are others like Google, like what are free fonts. There's a ton. A lot of times you just have to like say that you used it, like where you got it from, give a little credit. But 1,001 fonts, and they categorize them. So you can go through like horror fonts or children's fonts or, goth fonts, anything you can create, sports, athletic, they'll have a category for it. So you can have fun with that. Uh, Colors and cohesion. What mood are you conveying? I know a lot of people, again, I deal with women in recovery for alcoholism. And you can either get like very dark, and when you're talking about people that are still suffering from it, or most people really want to know, well, what happens? Is there hope? Hope would be yellow. So you could also Google like the science of colors and see. It's not really like when I did my website, I'm not a big purple person, but I understood, like I Googled and I researched what is soothing to women and what's like a comfortable looking. For my website for women in recovery, I wanted a safe, soothing tone. So I know my audience. These are women that are looking for something that's comfortable, soothing. So I Googled that. I did research, and you can go on Pinterest. There are people that actually organize like color palettes. There's so many things to look at for colors, and it really is important. It can be off-putting. And again, you want to like get these people like right off the bat. You have about 0.5 seconds to grab their attention. So if I see something that's very like red and black, I'm like, I don't know. But like I'm drawn to different colors for different reasons. But I'm looking for something that's inspirational. But yes, mine is like purple and teals, earth colors, browns. So okay, so what mood are you conveying? Which one would be the masculine? Not to be like chauvinistic or biased, but the masculine group color would be the bolder colors. You think athletes, and the softer palette usually is used for women. It's just the norm. Inside Canva, they have these amazing effects. They have AI is like really being utilized. Canva's really stepped it up. And I love it. Like the other day, I blog every week, and I had an image. Oh, I know. It was a jar of like pot, like sitting on the kitchen counter. And I'm like, I was writing about like how people switch one addiction for another. So like a lot of people will go from alcohol to pot. So I have a bottle of alcohol, like it didn't have a bottle of alcohol in the background. So in AI, I was able to finagle it and put a bottle of red wine behind the weed. And people were like, oh, like it really makes life easy. There's a brand kit for saving your colors, magic words. So you can really like have a lot of fun changing what you have if you can't find exactly what you want. Is there any way? Hold on, let me get this out. How do I make this smaller? Well, whatever. Okay, so, so I do have a free giveaway. When I get out of this, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to put them in. But I have a branding starter kit. So you can take a moment to clarify what's the mood of your podcast. Funny, is it raw and edgy? Raw and edgy, you want like graffiti type of bold face and bright colors mixed with really dark, like educational, soothing. Who are you speaking to? What are their ages? Take some time to figure out who your audience is so you're attracting them with your images. And then these are things that you can use for building your brand toolkit. You have to get a logo that's going to be consistent across your platform. Get a color palette and choose up to 5 to 6 brand colors. Fonts. Have some photos that are you use like your headshot that you keep on hand to use over and over. Have a tagline. What's the name of your podcast? We were talking about that. Something that really stands out. So, all right, so I have that. for you guys, a nice little kit to take home. This is what I bring. I can do your logo design. I do the color palette, 5 to 6 colors. I work with you on that. A type guide, just pick usually about 3 to 4 types for the main title, the subtitle, and the copy. I do the podcast cover art, the Zoom studio backdrop. To tell you the truth, I will do that as part of the kit. I think what's more important, and I realized I didn't put it here, a YouTube banner, because the YouTube banner is really important. So I will throw that in for this price. Business card design that ties it all together. So your brand isn't just how it looks, it's how it makes people feel. Again, when I picked the colors for my website, I wanted a soothing, safe feeling. Make your podcast unforgettable by really thinking it through. Who are you trying to reach? And then I have to screen share again because I wasn't sure how to like get from one to another. So hold on 2 seconds because I want to go into Canva now. And I think I can switch like this. I'm going to go back to screen sharing and we'll jump right in because this is the exciting part. This is the part that makes me happy. So we will go into my happy place. I get lost when I do like any type of creative work. All right, this is okay. It's like time just disappears. All right. So, okay, can you see that? Can you see the
Yes, we can
okay,
see.
so this is basically what I put together, and this is showing like the cohesive look. So here's a female podcast. Hold on, let me make this a bit bigger so you can see. I just picked a very soft, feminine look. This woman could be just talking about like life issues or I don't know, just something, a topic that would appeal. I'm trying to think what the heck. It just has that soft look, something comforting, something, but you could see that the podcast cover will tie in with what the YouTube banner is going to look like. So that people right away know, oh, this is her podcast. Oh, Olivia Wilson. Oh, I follow her. So she has certain colors that will immediately, and then the fonts, her like it looks like she wrote her name. It just has a nice, soft, feminine appeal. Now, the opposite would be here's like a rugged workout, and you have like a big, bold one color that sets it all off, but a real dark, which is like strength. The image is, you know, obviously like someone who's very physically fit. I don't think it's his studio, but maybe it is. So something like that would catch somebody's eye when they're flipping through like YouTube channels, looking for something on fitness, because immediately it has a rugged feel and a very clean look. So let me go into, so when you go into Canva, does anybody have any questions or I can't really, well, I'll take that in a sec, hold. But about anything that I'm covering. Okay. All right, so when you go into Canva, we will go into, they have Instagram posts. You'll go into, you can create a new design. And they have all the different things that you could do, the social media. You could have Facebook posts, sheets for office work, whiteboards for presentations, presentation for like slideshows, which is what I created mine in. Again, here's more social media. If you don't see it right away, they have videos, photo editor. So they have a bunch of templates. It's amazing. So if I put in the podcast cover,
Karen, somebody
yeah.
just asked about a YouTube thumbnail. Do they have that in Canva, don't they? Like already preset? Like what are the measurements?
That I would Google, but they probably, hold on.
Yeah, they do have YouTube thumbnail in there.
Yeah,
Create
pretty
a
sure they
blank
do.
one. Yeah, so here they have Yeah, they have like everything. I don't know of anything that they don't have in this. So
Well,
here's a bunch of YouTubes that you can use their templates or create a blank one.
and can I just add real quick? I have the paid version of Canva. If you do it in YouTube and you want to repurpose it for Instagram, you can go in and it will resize it for you.
You can resize. I would probably take the elements from the YouTube banner instead of trying to resize it and put it, then open up, what was it, the other one that you wanted to do besides YouTube? Instagram or
Yeah. So say
yeah.
you want to do YouTube. I mean, it doesn't come out perfect. You do have to change it.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't take like one medium and try to like mush it into another. I would start fresh and just pull the elements and place it down onto the other. So because trying to shrink it, it's just gonna like get out of proportion. Just start fresh. If you have a photo, just upload the photo and put it in the new medium. Just don't try to resize everything. The only time I resize things is if I realize I was like, I don't know, I wanted a horizontal rather than, like a portrait rather than a landscape.
Oh,
But
is
usually
this the,
I move it
I'm
off.
sorry, is this the free version or the paid version?
This one is paid. I do
Okay.
pay, I think it's 30 a month, I think. It's nominal and I don't remember what the basic was, but honestly, I did use the basic for like a year or so. And I don't really, there was some reason I just wanted to do a step up, but I do more professional things. You could do the free version and see how far you get with it. But I remember enjoying it. I got a lot of use out of just that. So podcast cover. So the free is good just to start and see how you like it. But again, it really is the best platform that I know of out there. I use it constantly. Okay, so what will you design? So again, you can create, if you're feeling like comfortable, like, and you know how to do it, you could create from the blank. And then they have a bunch, and which is really great. So there's where I got the female, the new podcast, whatever, and you can see the different feel that like right away, the feminine, the gossip. This is more, you could tell just by the casual typeface that this is just a real casual, let's sit around and talk. So let's go in and we could just, which one? I'll play with this one first. We'll start with one and you just go in and click on it. And again, once you pick one that has like a photo on it, they're going to pop up with other ones that have a similar feel that you could play with. So it's amazing. You won't get bored of looking at all the different templates. It really gets it's very helpful for creating. So, okay. So we'll just start with this one. Now, if I wanted to duplicate this, and I always do, if I'm going to make a correction on something, I want to keep like the original so that if I make a mistake or I can't even remember what I was starting with, if you want just a blank, you can go like that and just have a blank sheet of paper. So we can work on this if we wanted to. So first, on the upper left, let's familiarize ourselves with the toolbox. We'll start from the top. This is where the fonts are. This font is called Sapphira March. When you open it up, it'll show all the different fonts that you can have. And it is showing what is in this document specifically. So you can see there's the font here. And then where it says Misty Baxter. So you're not guessing. And this is called Sisterhood. So if you wanted to change it, and you were like, well, gee, I think I really want it more, I don't know, a little bit more bold. No, elegant. Let's go elegant. I wanted a little bit more upscale. So then they'll show all the different fonts that you can have, and you can scroll. The Seasons is really pretty, and do like a nice serif. And then it has an option of changing it all, but I don't want to do that. If I hit change it all, it's going to change, which is great. It'll change all of the other ones that I have in the whole that I have open. So I'm going to go back, and if you want to go back, the arrows here. If you want to change the type size, that you can scroll right here and change right in here. If you want to change the color, you go in, they have all different colors. This is my color palette. I'll get into that in a second. If you want to choose a color, this is pretty cool. You can change the color by using this little eyedropper and say you want to choose like a darker, like gray here, and it'll change that for a different look. And the gray will now automatically be held for you so you could keep it consistent. If you wanted to change the photo, you can go down, hold on, and they have photos here. So if you wanted to search for a puppy, cute puppy, golden retriever puppy, puppy yoga, I don't know what that, oh, puppy and yoga, okay, there you have it. So, okay, now automatically you have now just changed into like health. So a ton. Oh, actually, I like that one. But so now we have totally changed our feel. But again, I just love Canva because you could go like crazy all day. So that is for, okay, so let's go across, underlying, change the A, changing left to right, everything. It's very, if you want to change the letter spacing, the line spacing, if you want to make something faded, the photo, let me fade it. You can fade it out. If you have an image behind it, it comes in handy. So animate. Oh yeah, let me see. Hold on. Animation is cool. Okay, so you could see now you can have that going on, a little effect. So all the groovy things that you see people can do. This is less for the podcast cover because it is going to be stationary. But if you were sending out a PDF on a website, you could have it that it was like really flashing. So you have the effects. You can change the font. You could do a drop shadow. You could do a lift outline. Let me see the shape. You could do it on a circle. So everything is really pretty spelled out here. Hold on, let me get out of, make this normal and hit none. It's not going back. I don't know.
You got to go down to uncurve it. It was down below. There you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I did that once too.
Like what? Okay, there's none. Okay. So if I wanted to pick, again, I'm going to do another clear one. Say I don't like that design. If you go into projects, no, not into projects. If you go into design on the very top, again, you're going to have all different ones. You can do podcast cover art. It'll show just all the other ones that you had seen in the beginning if you decide you didn't really like that. You wanted something more basic. And again, you can just switch out the colors. If you have a brand, and let me go to the brand next. The brand is where you keep, this is where all my logos are, so that I can keep everything consistent. So there's one of my logos. Here's my color palette that you can shuffle and have it on the colors. There's my purple and the brown, and it's instant gratification, you know. Here's some of my fonts, so I can like make it, oh, that looks weird. Okay. I could change this to, no, I can't. Oh, Melanova, hold on. Go into the Melanova, which would look weird. So the brand kit is important to do, and it's pretty easy to, like, when you go in, you can edit it and add, so you can add your logos in right here. It's important to do when you're first setting up the whole thing is go in, put in your 5 colors. I have more than that, but there's a whole other reason for my website. But you put in your logos, you put in your colors, and then it's fun that you can just change it around. You have consistency. You put in your fonts, you have your subtitle, your heading, your brand voice, the photos that you use a lot, icons, charts that you use. So it's all in the brand kit so that you can keep it all together. The text button, again, you can find all the different text that you would need. Uploads. Okay, so say you go offsite on free pick or pexels.com and you find an image because you couldn't find something in Canva. Go into freepick.com and you find something and you download it. This is where you can upload the file and then place your new image in if you can't find anything. Oops. Okay. So I have a ton of things that I could upload. And I just uploaded this, a little podcast from Elizabeth. So you can upload all your images and then I could change it to something like that.
Did you see Sonia raised her hand?
No, there you are. Hi, Sonia. Yes.
I have no idea why that happened. I didn't touch anything. I swear to God, my computer does. I gotta fix something on YouTube because it just
Oh,
does.
wait. Someone said they can't see
stuff.
the screen anymore. Can everybody see the screen?
Can you?
That's so
Yeah,
weird.
so people are saying they can see it now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So maybe it just, I can see Karen, but not Canva. Oh, you know what? Maybe if you go to the very top of Zoom, it might give you a choice of 2 different places to be. So you might have to, do you know what I mean?
Mm,
So sometimes, so when someone's sharing a screen, sometimes at the top you can either go to their screen or to a different
well, I have
view.
like one participant can share at a time, multiple can. Like, where would I find it? Under share
No,
or?
other people can see it. I don't think it's you, Karen. I think it's really weird. It depending on your computer, you can have 2 different windows open in Zoom at the top, and one is the meeting window and one is Karen's screen. So I have, if I go up to the top, to the very top left, where there's the 3 dots and the arrow down, there's meeting. If I click on meeting, that'll take me to the meeting screen. If I go over one, it says Karen Rubenstein's screen. If I click on that, then I see her screen.
Okay.
So
Are
make sure
seeing?
that you've clicked on Karen Rubenstein's screen.
I'm beginning to like this one. It kind of looks Picasso-like.
Someone says it just disappeared for them.
Huh.
Under view at the top right, then click on standard. Okay, try that.
No, I mean, I
Um,
stop share and try.
we have people troubleshooting it in the chat. I don't know what is going on with that. That's weird. Like, why would it suddenly disappear like that? That's very strange.
I don't know. I wish I could see.
Or put my hand up. That's also strange.
I wish I could see the comments. I have to get a little bit better with screen sharing. Okay, so what else had I wanted to get? Okay, some more of the tools. So you have the uploads for uploading your own art, which is nice. But these tools, I don't really use them. I don't know. Elizabeth, I know that you like to play around with
Oh,
things.
I use those. But you know what, Karen, I'm wondering, could you stop sharing for a minute and then start sharing again? And maybe that'll help people. And now start sharing again.
Okay.
I don't know. It's, you know what? Zoom has done some really weird things lately.
All right, it's saying screen sharing again. Everybody see? Yeah,
Can
I don't want.
people see it now? Um, so yeah, I use some of those tools. Like I was doing a I was doing a flow chart and I use that line and you can do squiggly lines and stuff with it, but I find those tools very hard to control.
Yeah,
And
I don't really use it. Yeah, I mean they're there. I'm not sure why.
they're hard
Uh,
to control. But what I like to do is I like to magnify it up. It makes it a little easier to control them. But You have to have a really steady hand if you're going to do those.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe if you're giving a class and you want to like point out something on the screen, that's about the only, no, I don't, I have no idea. I never use it because like you said, it's like very hard to control. Your projects, these are all the things that I've been working on. So like it keeps it, I have like 10 million projects. Oh, okay. The apps. Now, this is great. Sometimes I just like look in, I kind of Google, I'll scroll through this depending on what I'm looking for. Sometimes I want to do some special effects with type, say. I don't use it. I know that you do. I know that Elizabeth is going to be like, oh, I use it all the time because you tend to be very creative when it comes to these things.
I use the magic media and create stuff with it, and it's gotten better, but there's maybe other AI image generators that are better for those people that love to
Yeah.
play with AI.
Yeah, let me let me show you a photo element and how you can use. Let me go back to, okay, like with this photo. What's really cool, okay, so up on the top here on edit, okay, background, BG remover. This is like really cool because now the background is going to be, is gone. Now you can drop something else. You could go into elements. And I will cover elements in a second because that I use a ton. So I could drop, so you pull this across and down. Now, if you right click on it, you'll see all of these things come on. I can copy the square, copy style. That's a whole other, that gets too complicated. The layer, it'll say, bring it forward, bring it to the front, send it backwards, send to the back. So there she is. And I could put like a shape here. Again, I'll put it to the back, put that to the back. Oops. Hold on. Put her in the front. Where is she? Okay. So you can play around with the different layers. And this black gear, gee, I wonder why I have this black gear up. You can change the color of that. And there she is. Now she works for Elizabeth. So there she is.
All right.
Okay. So, okay. Here. Media. Okay. So there. So going into elements, they have basic shapes, but there's so searching for an element. They have stickers. They one of the things that I had on this slideshow was an animated sticker of the like sound effects. So they have movement. But let me see. So when I was looking up, oh, okay, I wanted to have a pen on a logo. So I put in pen, but I didn't want just like a regular pen because it'll show all the different graphics. And here's your basic. It has photos, videos about pen, but I wanted it to look like it was hand drawn. So I'll put in pen sketch. And now it looks like it's, so it has a ton of graphics that you can use. Again, like you don't really, it's like one-stop shopping for anything that you need. General graphics, scribble lines. I mean, again, look at, I'll go back to the dog. I'm dog fixated. Go into dogs. Here's all that. You have photos. Okay, now she's with like a, oh, that's cute. Okay. So let me see, videos.
Karen, I have a quick question. Well, it's probably not a quick question, but, and obviously you're just so talented and you do this naturally. But for those of us who maybe don't naturally do this, how
Mhm.
many elements would you say you put in a particular graphic, or because you balance it nicely, you put things, but you don't want to overcrowd it, you don't want to do too much, but you also don't want to look too sparse, unless that's what you're going for. How do you gauge that? Like psychologically, if you were to approach making it, how do you think about
It's
making it look
image
pretty
first.
and balanced, or making it look effective and balanced?
Yeah, there's a reason why there's only like that. And thank you for that question, because you're right. I get like I know how to do these things, um but going back to advertising, you want a very strong image.
Mhm.
So if you go back to hold on. If you go back to the weightlifter, oops, hold on.
The problem with Canva, there's just so much you can do with it. It would take days to go through every feature on it.
Right. So if you want to make a simple YouTube thing or a podcast thing, what is it that, like, will you sit down, where, how do I start to formulate it? You obviously, you know who you are, you got your why, you got your audience. So then walk me through sort of how you create it. Because there are so many elements here.
But yeah, maybe a YouTube cover. Like
I'm gonna
somebody
go
was
back.
asking about a YouTube cover,
A YouTube cover. Okay, I can go in and do that.
thumbnail,
Yeah.
a
Or you
thumbnail.
could work with the one that you already had. What was your thought process doing it? Like, if you don't have to necessarily create it from the beginning if you don't want to.
All right. So it's image first and usually logo or the name second. So in the podcast world, it's the name of your pod would be second, but image, a very strong image. So you have the weightlifter. And then the next thing that would be considered like a logo is the name of the podcast. Something bold so that they brand recognition immediately. So one
Mhm.
strong image, you want to keep it simple, simple, simple. So if I was designing, hold on, let me do a blank. Let me go into design and I'll tell you like what's behind the design. I will do YouTube banner.
Mm.
I'll go back to the podcast.
Well, I think they were asking about the thumbnail in the
Mhm.
chat. I can't remember who it was, but somebody asked about a thumbnail, like how you would do a YouTube thumbnail.
All right, let me
Yes.
hold on. It's hard for me to get up here. This little banner. Hold on. I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna start fresh on a new one. And I'm gonna
That's
say,
a so it
what would
was YouTube
I
thumbnail.
go? YouTube thumbnail. And it has the sizes 1280 by 720 pixels. The thing is with YouTube, it gets very strange. Sometimes the sizing is so off.
I noticed that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've noticed when I'm trying to do like the banners, it doesn't have it
The
right.
banner is a pain in the butt. That's why
Yeah.
when I was looking at the media kit that I have, the branding kit, I'm like, you know what? I'll do the Zoom backdrop for like free, but the YouTube banner is what is really necessary. So
Yeah.
Sonia, and again, thank you for asking that, because here it is, image and not logo, but it's the name of the podcast. In advertising, it's image and logo. So you want a strong image. You want that puppy. If you're selling dog food, you're going to have a puppy and you're going to have the brand logo. So in podcasting, in this world, in the media world, it's going to be, what is it? So you know right away, like you see a smart Alec like kid, and you're like, this is like, he looks a bit edgy. He's got the dark t-shirt on. It's very bold, very rugged. Immediately, right now, you know he's not going to be like a very serious guy. Even the his facial expression just looks like a fun, like, I'll use an old term, kibitzer, like he's just going to be joking around, talking about different issues, maybe from his generation. gee, I wonder what this guy's talking about. Money, you know, like immediately. That's what,
Is there a rule of thumb about the photo or that image being center or to the left or to the right, or is that just
it depends on like where it's going to like sit well, where it's going to have the most be the most dynamic. So you could play around. So let me double this guy. So where do I want him? Would he work better over here? No, they were trying to split up the 10 and the, you know, like make a difference. So they centered him. But if they weren't, maybe there was something else and they had like a little graphic here or something, then what the heck is going on here? So yeah, no, I mean, it's just playing around and what you're trying to convey. This is kind of cool. All right. Yeah, I like this because immediately you can see, you're seeing that it's a strong color,
And
bold. Like this guy, I'm not sure what he's talking about. He has watches predicting. Oh, well, it would help if I knew Spanish, but why is everything in
yeah,
Spanish?
what did you do in Spanish?
That's like really great.
I think Zoom's playing. I did want to, Karen, I did want to mention one thing here that's a
Yeah,
little marketing thing about these YouTube thumbnails and your titles of your YouTube video.
yeah.
What I have noticed in my own experience when I'm using ChatGPT, I wanted to know what an SSD drive is. It's basically just a storage drive that we hook up to our equipment to store the videos on, but I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I typed in to ChatGPT, what is an SSD drive? And two videos came up, and on the videos, one of them was a picture of a guy, kind of like this, and the words, what is an SSD drive? That exact phrase was the title on the cover of on the YouTube thumbnail. And
Mhm.
that video with that person came up as an answer on ChatGPT. And now this, for all of you out there, all of us, I should say, it's not going to be enough just to have our websites found. We're going to have to optimize for these large language models like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Google Gemini. And one way to do that is to answer the exact questions people are asking. And if you're doing short videos that answer a question like that, to put the exact question on there. That just through my own experience. So that if you're doing educational, and you could, I mean, you can do a longer video and name it something else and then pull out just that one question and answer, like a 3-minute thing, and do its own cover with just the question, right? But that's something you need to think about when you're designing your thumbnails now. Believe me,
That
I
is
was shocked.
really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at least I found English speaking things. So, how about sports? Okay. So, again, the templates really help and it really does show, like, why does it go back to that? It really does show the elements. So, again, here I'm going to use this as a new page. What is it? You have one clear image, a solid, they have the blue tones, very sporty, mannish. This is a typeface. Now, if I change the typeface to something like that, well, that doesn't work well, but if I changed it to like more of like a signature, like a little feminine type, oh, feeling passionate, you know, like it just changes like the whole mood. Like this just seems like it's very powerful. I know, right?
That was pretty good.
Yeah. This one's cool for like real macho type of thing.
Ooh.
So yeah, I mean, again, I mean, you just looking at it, it doesn't look like it's about a tea party. It's, you know, it's like definitely has an edgier feel, and I like their typeface a lot. Um, this is that actually is sporty too.
And
Oh,
then you can make it fit better by changing the font size or making the box bigger, right?
yeah. So then you go up to this toolbar, and again, then it'll size it nice. And if you pull down on this and automatic, you don't even have to use the toolbar. Again, it's so like user friendly. I don't know why this doesn't move. I guess it's locked. You can lock the position and unlock the page. Sometimes you want to lock it if you're moving elements around and you want the background to stay the same. What else are there? Captions I never really use. There's all different types of things that I don't use that much. Are there anything down here, Elizabeth, that you use at all?
Um,
It was
well,
great when you're making
we
videos.
sometimes maybe use the audio if we're doing a video thing. So you could do short
Yeah,
videos on here.
yeah. Then
Um,
they like, yeah.
yeah, and then I do use the magic media. And I find the magic media sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. So I asked it to do, this was a few years ago, it's much better now. I asked it to do a picture of an old-fashioned man holding a dog on a leash, and it kind of mixed the man's face in with the dog's face. And
Oh,
it goes really
oh,
creepy
yeah.
looking.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
My
Sometimes,
daughter was like, "Oh, get rid of that. I can't stand it."
oh, yeah. Oh, sometimes like I'll stretch out a photo, like I need it to be longer, like widthwise, and it'll add like creatures in it. Like some woman is standing in a field, and now she's standing next to like a cow with no head. And it's like, oh, yeah, that I really need that. So yeah, it gets a little bit weird.
But I do like this. So I did a LinkedIn post for this meetup, and I used this to generate the images for the LinkedIn post. And I thought that it really stood out. I thought they were good images.
Yeah, I it's so funny because I use free pick a lot. So that's where I utilize like the changing, but okay, so now if I wanted to change this guy into a female, like I just put in like, oh, I want a female teacher. Let me see what would happen if I remove her background. I might be able to drop her in where he was. Yeah, so then you can get rid of him. Bye-bye. It's amazing, and here she is. Now you have like a woman teaching the class.
You could probably crop the kids out if you didn't want the kids in there, right? So you could crop it if you wanted to.
Yeah,
That looks a little weird though.
I know. Oh, yeah, I tried to. Oh, let me see. They do have the eraser. Hold on. Let me
Oh,
see.
I have
Yeah.
such a hard time with that eraser. Like I
Like,
said, I have no like fine motor skills, Karen.
so you can go in. Here's the okay, so here's the Magic Studio, the background remover, background generator. I haven't used that. This eraser is good because here I am. You just go right in. I got a little bit of her fingers and take the kid out. Let's see what it does. Is it going to like totally, hopefully it keeps the table. I think it will, like the desk. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, well.
Yeah.
So you gotta like kind of,
But you could get rid of the desk too, probably.
Yeah.
Although,
Yeah,
yeah.
you have to have good motor skills.
Yeah. So, I mean, you can play around with it, but like you get the gist of it. It's like, that looks pretty cool,
Yeah,
actually.
that looks okay.
And clean it up a little bit. So now you have like a totally different, you can play around with the typeface. So that's the magic media. Oh, and this is funny. Let me take a regular photo. Hold on. Go back to this guy. Let me get a photo. I didn't want all this. Okay. Okay.
I think the thing with Canva too is just to go in and play with it. There's so
Oh,
much you
yeah.
can do. It's really
There's
fun.
really, oh yeah, and then for cropping, there's this for cropping the size of the photo. Smart crop. Okay, so if you just wanted to like focus a little bit stronger on the dog. So then if you wanted to stretch it, hold on, I'm gonna do, this is where it gets a little bit weird. So here's more of the special effects.
I like the filters too. Do you ever use those?
Yeah, I know. You turn things into like Salvador Dali and stuff. Like, I know you know. Okay, so this I'm just really curious to see what the heck it looks like when it's stretched. See if they put another dog in. It comes in handy. So yeah, ooh, so a little
Well,
wonky.
that's not bad.
It's not
Not
too
bad.
bad. It's not too bad. It's almost workable. Um, so the elements are, again, have a bold image, a specific person. He might be known for like being a financial guru. Have some bold copy that people are like, they can catch it like right away. So what's this about? Okay, this guy's going to teach you English, like very quick. Um, just clean. I can't emphasize that more. You want like one strong image, strong copy, like the name of your podcast, colors that pop and immediately will tell you. And again, that what I would do is go on to Pinterest, say they have collections of different colors for different like feels that people have actually spent the time. Look at the psychology of color, figure out what fonts go into. I have all this in building your own brand kit. Oh, shoot. Okay, let me stop the share because I want to go in because I want to put the link in for that so that you can go home and actually like utilize the different techniques that I showed. Hold on. And go to the different, I listed the different websites for you too. So hold on. But anyway, does anybody have any questions? Because I know I did cover a lot. And Elizabeth, I'm cutting and pasting. If anybody is saying anything, I'm not looking right now. Hold
Okay, I
on.
don't see anything right now.
Okay. So here's the branding kit handout. It's 2 pages and it does list the different places that you can look at different fonts and different photos, resources. And then the brochure, if anybody needs help with like putting their brand kit together.
Did you put it in the chat? I don't see it in the chat.
I didn't hit the
Oh,
arrow.
there it is. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So are there any questions on Canva? Does anybody have any questions about like anything they're working on? Like anything that you know, what they're thinking of with their podcast covers or their design and like any feels so it made sense at all. Hopefully it made sense.
Lots of great information.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
really, there's a lot to do with it, and I think it's really, it is so important. It does make a difference how that looks, how it communicates your message, your why is a big deal because you could feel one way and then have like a font or a color or an image that completely does not align with that, and that mixed message won't translate.
You know what
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
you know what I use it for too, quite honestly, is I'll take pictures and then I put them in Canva and then I embellish them or change them. Like Karen said, I had a picture of Richard at this microphone and I went through and I used a whole bunch of different little AI programs that you can get in Canva and change the colors and changed and made it cartoonified and all this other stuff and then had it printed on a canvas. But so there's a lot that you can use it for.
Yeah, I think the main thing really is be clear on your audience, keep it clean, keep it simple. Um, that's why I was showing the podcast covers. Like, you should be able to identify what the heck your podcast is about, and you have to catch them in 2 seconds. So if it's about dogs, don't have like a sack of flour. I mean, that's obvious. Or a car. Like, oh, I really like my car, or like where my favorite color is red. I was a designer for years. A lot of the things I designed, I didn't really like the color scheme, but I knew what somebody in Iowa was going to like to wear. I tend to wear like brown. My mother always said that's not a color. I'm like, yeah, well. So I know brown wasn't selling in like Des Moines. So did I make everything that I designed brown? No, I didn't. I really got into the psychology, and my things were bestsellers like in the garment district for years because I understood who was going to buy my product. It wasn't for me. It was for somebody else who was going to wear it and, really get use out of it. So what is your podcast? What are you like trying to convey? What is the warmth? What is the strength? What is it, the psychology of it? Really like think of these questions. Sonia had lovely like thinking, like ask the whys, ask the whos. This is the point of who and why would they pick yours over, look at others, go on to YouTube sites, go into the category that you're going to be doing, look at what the bestseller, like the people that are getting like a lot of hits, a lot of viewers, what are they doing right? Really dismantle. But again, you have a strong image, have a strong a bold a font or a soft font for whatever that you're conveying, with a really great color scheme that is consistent, because they want to know, I'm looking for you. I'm looking for you. I can't find you. If you have a bunch of different colors, keep it simple, keep it simple.
So Karen, let's say that I wanted to do a really catchy picture for Facebook and I didn't want to use my brand colors. Like my brand colors are blue and gray. And let's say I want to do an orange. I mean, I did that for my LinkedIn. I did an orange LinkedIn picture with your stuff on, yours and Sonia's kind of things on top of it, which is totally against my brand colors and it's not the same as this brand. Is that okay to do once in a while, you think?
I would say at Halloween, if you want to put orange, but
Okay.
because people are going to expect it. You don't want to you don't want to confuse people. You want, again, everything is so quick nowadays and people are just glancing. And if they don't see the color, like people are going to drive by McDonald's if they don't see that big friggin' yellow and red, like, like they're not going to notice. If they're like looking for a gas station, if I'm looking for Sunoco and they change their brand, like their logo and their color, I'm going to drive right by it because I'm not expecting it. So
I
people,
think it's really, I want to just tag on to that because I'm not even McDonald's or Sunoco, right? But I wore a different color to an event where I was speaking, and somebody came up to me and they're like, "Where is your orange?" Like they were upset that I didn't have orange on. I was like, wow. I mean, three-quarters of my outfits are orange, but like
Yeah.
I just,
wow.
branched out that day and it wasn't even on like a picture, it was in person. And apparently I can't do that. So choose your
Wow.
colors wisely, because it does make a difference.
Yeah, you don't want to confuse, or in Sonia's case, annoy like her fans. Where's your orange? Yeah,
Where's the orange? I know. I actually almost wore something different tonight, and I was like, "Oh, I better put on orange. It's branding
well,
night."
I know. I thought I better put on my blue and navy. Yeah.
yeah. In answer to your question, if it's for a reason, like, hey, we're honoring breast cancer awareness, we're going to do a pink. People are going to expect us at a certain time of season, but you're going to lose them if you change it around. You're just going to get lost in the shuffle. Like my question is why? And if you're going to rebrand it, then you're going to have to change everything. But once you really establish a color, like eventually I probably want to go with denim blue because like Sonia, I live in blue. Um, and I really don't like purple, but again, it was like I wanted to establish something that would attract
I,
the whole.
I'm gonna share my screen for a minute.
Mhm.
Um, because I want to talk about what we're gonna do next time for people that are still here. So next time we're doing a joint one. So David Pistolsky is an attorney at Gerhardt Law, and we do patents, trademarks, and copyrights. I do marketing for the law firm. So he has a big meetup that he does once a month. He gets 100 some people, and I do this meetup once a month with Sonia, and we're gonna have Rob Greenlee back, who was here before, who is on top of all the AI stuff and on top of podcasting. He's the only person I know who puts all that stuff together in a cohesive form. And then Stacy Sherman, who I started this meetup group with, she does doing CX right. So she's going to talk about, do people want to listen to AI generated podcasts or do they want to listen to human podcasts? And can they tell the difference? And what's the sentiment right now? Rob's going to be talking about the new Chat GPT because there's going to be a new version coming out in August. David's going to be talking a little bit about copyrights. And, it's really fuzzy in the legal sphere right now. about how much you can use AI to generate content without violating somebody else's copyright. And there's a big fight going on, quite honestly. But he's going to talk about what we do know. So this is going to be September 16th. We're not doing anything in August because, you know, it's August. And this is in person and on Zoom. So it's going to be in the studio in Summit, New Jersey, but it will also be a hybrid event on Zoom. So with that, um, are there any last words? Oh,
Karen,
Karen
do I
Rubenstein, do you work with
international?
international clients?
Oh yeah, thank God. Yeah, the power of Zoom and we have a small world, literally. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. Oh, good. Stacy's going to come on September 16th. Great.
Yeah, so my contact info is on the brochure up in the if you go in the chat. So I have the branding kit handout. I have the links. So the first one is the handout for the 2-pager so that you can follow along and play around with it. Canva is a lot of fun. Don't be, like I said, save your first one, save like the original and just make copies of it. So and then my brochure, and again, I will do the YouTube banner because Elizabeth can contest. It's a real pain in the butt. I'm like, what am I thinking? No,
Because
they
it doesn't line up right. You have to
no,
redo it and redo it and redo it.
it makes me go crazy. I can't, and I Google like the sizes, and it's like that is the one pain in the butt. So that I will put in, and the backdrop is fine. That's like a little freebie, but yeah, you definitely need a YouTube banner. So.
And as far as saving your stuff, if you do anything with Magic Media to create an AI generated image, save that because you will never be able to create it again.
No, yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway, so I think we're done. Thank you everybody for coming. And as I said, I'll send out an email. I'll put this on YouTube. I'll put the link with it, and it's free to view. So uh, again, September 16th is our next one, and I hope you found this helpful. Bye.
Excellent. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye, Sonia.